Later, with a book in hand, Taehyung headed to the garden, sitting under the warm morning sun. He smelled to himself for the first time in the long while. He felt truly at home. The night sky was blanketed in darkness when Taehyung finally stretched his arm above his head, letting out a long yawn. After studying for nearly 5 hours, his back is itching and his eyes were heavy. I can't believe it's already night, he mumbled, rubbing his neck. As he glanced at the clock, it's already 7 p.m. Grabbing his phone from the edge of the table, he muttered, Mrs. Jian usually stop by around this time. She always eats, and they might as well cook something nice for them. He decided and headed to the kitchen. As soon as he arrived, they tied an apron around his waist and began preparing the ingredients. The quiet kitchen reminded him of home, back when he would cook for his family after long days. 2 hours later, he leaned against the counter with a satisfied sigh. The dishes were laid out neatly, filling the air with a mouth-watering aroma. He removed his apron and sat on the stool and pulled out his phone, scrolling aimlessly while waiting for Mr. and Mrs. Jian to arrive. By 9:45 p.m., there were still no sign of them. And Mr. Jian is late again, he added softly. Is he still at office? He rested his chin on his palm. They are both such hardworking people, but they overdo it sometimes. His eyes started to drop as exhausted. I shouldn't fall asleep while waiting for them, he whinnied quietly, shaking his head to stay awake. But before he knew, his head rested on his folded arm and he drifted off sleep. Jungkook entered the mansion, losing his tie. We saw the cook likely left some food in the kitchen. Shall I bring to your room? His secretary offered politely. Jungkook shook his head. JK, no need. Howie, you had a long day too. Put your things in the room and get some rest. His secretary broke carrying Jungkook's coat and bag to his room while Jungkook made his way to the kitchen. When he entered, the sight before him made him pause. Then was fast asleep at the counter, his head resting on his arm. Jungkook then begged gently, JK, hey, wake up. If you are going to sleep, do it in your room, he said softly, his voice lashed with concern. Taehyung is growing softly before lifting his head. His sleepy eyes blinked as he yawned and stretched. When his vision started cleared, he jolted up right, realizing who was standing in front of him. Sir, Taehyung exclaimed quickly, standing and bowing. Good evening. I'm sorry you had to see such an thing. Jungkook slipped injured in amusement, though his tone remains stern. JK, it's fine, but you shouldn't sleep in the kitchen. It's not safe. Jungkook sighed. JK, if you are tired, just go to bed. There is no need to wait for me. Before Taehyung could respond, his stomach growled loudly, breaking the silence. Both of them froze, their eyes wide. Taehyung clenched nervously, his cheeks flushing in embarrassment. JK, you didn't eat dinner yet? Jungkook asked, his brows knitting together. I forget. Taehyung admitted sleeplessly. Jungkook sighed again, massaging his temple. JK, sit down. I will get us some food. But sir, JK, no buts. Jungkook interrupted firmly, rolling up his sleeve as he headed to the stove. Taehyung hesitated but eventually sat back down, watching Jungkook with wide eyes. The two ate in silence, the only sound in the room coming from the and please. Taehyung occasionally glances at Jungkook, who seems deep in thought after they finish. Taehyung stood together the dishes. They will wash this. Sir, you should rest. Jungkook shook his head. JK, you should be the one resting, not me. But sir, you have worked all day. You must be more tired than I am. Taehyung insisted. Jungkook clicked his tongue. JK, fine, but after you are done, I will walk you to your room, he said. Taehyung sighed in defeat. Okay, sir, he mumbled, turning to the sink to wash the dishes. Then, 10 minutes later, Taehyung wiped his hand on the towel and turned to Jungkook, who was scrolling through his phone. Sir, I'm done, he said softly. Jungkook pocketed his phone and stood. Okay, let's go. As they walked through the quiet halls, Jungkook broke the silence. Okay, the food was great, he said, his tone softer than usual. Thank you, sir, Taehyung replied, his cheeks turning pink. JK, but next time don't wait for me. Eat when you are hungry. Jungkook continued, glancing at him briefly. Yes, sir, Taehyung murmured, lowering his head. JK, and if you feel sleepy, go to bed. Don't fall asleep in the kitchen. Jungkook added firmly. I understood, sir, Taehyung said, nodding. They stopped in front of Taehyung's door. Jungkook turned to him and said, JK, here your room. Rest well. Taehyung bowed politely. Thank you for walking me here, sir. Good night. JK, good night. Taehyung watched him walk away, a soft smile on his face. For the moment, he felt a strange sense of comfort. Despite Jungkook's cold demeanor, there was a warmth in his accent and Taehyung couldn't ignore. Time escape as usual. Taehyung woke up with a wave of discomfort. This morning, sickness has been hitting him at the same time as yesterday, making it difficult for him to get any rest. After throwing up earlier, he couldn't sleep a wink, so he decided to go to the kitchen and prepare breakfast, again humming to himself as he moved around. His sweat in rhythm, a soft smile forming on his face despite his discomfort. Good morning, her voice suddenly interrupted his peaceful moment. He placed his hand over his chest, trying to calm down before looking over his shoulder. Good morning, sir, he stuttered when he realized it was Jungkook. JK, did I startle you? I'm sorry, Jungkook apologized with a soft crunch, stepping closer to the kitchen and sitting down on a stool. It's okay, sir, Taehyung said, placing a shy smile on as he returned to his cooking. Jungkook leaned over, preparing furiously at the stove. JK, what are you making? He asked, his voice casual. Rice and boiled eggs, sir, Taehyung answered while staring. Can you give me tea, please? Jungkook said, already pulling his phone from his pocket, scrolling through messages. Then quickly put the lid down and moved to the counter to prepare the tea. He served it in front of Jungkook, carefully pouring the hot liquid into a cup. JK, thank you, Jungkook said, his fingers gently holding the cup as he took a sip. Keeping his attention on his phone, Taehyung went back to the stove and stirred the which was now ready. Here your breakfast, sir, he said, placing the plate in. Jungkook glanced up at him. JK, what about you? He asked, his tone softening. Taehyung clenched his teeth. Of course, I prepare myself something for myself too, sir. He took his portion of food and sat beside Jungkook at the counter as Taehyung ate. Jungkook's gaze lingered on him, not eating immediately. He couldn't help but notice the way Taehyung's body was changing. A small, almost smiled quietly. In the corner of Jungkook's lips, Taehyung suddenly asked, sensing the weight of Jungkook's eyes on him. Is there something wrong with your food? Taehyung asked, worried that Jungkook might not like the meal. JK, no, it's just that I notice you are making progress, Jungkook said, his voice quieter. He took a bite of his breakfast. JK, is the baby causing you any convenience? Taehyung smiled gently. It's just morning sickness, sir, but I'm fine, he said, taking another spoonful of Jungkook's brows frowned slightly. Not really, sir, but thank you for your concern, Taehyung answered, offering a reassuring smile. JK, good, Jungkook said, his voice soft but firm. JK, make sure to eat plenty of food for the baby. Yes, sir, Jungkook then responded. Just then, Jungkook's wife, Minji, walked into the kitchen with a pout on her lip. Man, I am starving. The soup took forever, she whined as she entered the room. You should eat breakfast, miss, her personal assistant suggested politely. And I guess I should, Minji said, but I doubt the cook has already prepared anything. I think he has, miss, the assistant. Minji smiled excitedly and rushed into the kitchen where she overheard Jungkook's voice. JK, you should take care of your health, eat nutritious food, and for the sake of the child, he said. Men, oh, they are talking, Minji murmured to herself, a small smile forming on her lips. Men, guess they are getting along better than I thought. Men, good morning. She chimed brightly, entering the room with a wide smile. The two men turned their attention to her. Good morning, Mrs. Jian. Taehyung. Men, good morning too. Minji responded cheerfully, trying to suppress her playful sigh. Jungkook gave a small nod. JK, your shooting is done? He asked in his usual emotionless tone. Man, it's my day off, she answered with a shrug. Taehyung gulped, the atmosphere between them suddenly feeling tense. JK, then I will take my leave, Jungkook said, standing up from his stool. JK, eat your breakfast. You must be tired, he said to Minji, picking up his plate. Minji's cheerfully demeanor immediately returned once Jungkook was out of eyesight. Earshot. So, what did you make today? She asked, practically bouncing on her seat. Taehyung blinked at the sudden shift in her energy. Rice and boiled egg, Mrs. Yan, he answered, unsure of how to react. Men, oh, how many times do I have to tell you? Minji groaned. Men, it's Minji. Say it with me. Minji answered shyly, feeling embarrassed but amused by her energy. Men, good, she exclaimed, clapping her hands. Taehyung clenched as he stood up from his seat. I will get you some, he said, moving upward to the stove. He served her a bowl of and placed in front of her. Men, oh, I haven't had this in ages, she said in a delight, grabbing her spoon. Men, it's so good. Taehyung smiled and sat back, continuing his breakfast. Men, so how is Jungkook? Is he making you uncomfortable? Minji asked casually. Taehyung froze, looking at her. No, he just was concerned about the baby's health. He answered, his voice soft. Men, no, he is like that, huh? Minji shrugged. Men, I didn't know him well, so I can't say much. Taehyung's thoughts raced, but they are married, aren't they close? Men, well, if I had known you were cooking, I wouldn't came home more often, Minji said, eyes sparkling. Man, your cooking is amazing. Taehyung blushed, feeling flustered by a little sad. It's not that special, man. I can't get over those dumplings you made last time, she said with a giggle. Man, they are amazing. Thank you. Taehyung murmured, his gaze lowered in modest. Man, from now on, I will try coming home more often just to eat your cooking, Minji exclaimed, laughing. Taehyung smiled, shaking his head. She is a whole different person when she is not around Mr. Jian. Taehyung thought to himself, but he didn't dare to ask too many questions. Instead, he just shrugged and continued eating, enjoying peaceful moment. Time escape. Strange, I didn't wake up because of my morning sickness, but I wake up immediately without realizing it. Taehyung mumbled as he sat up in bed and looking around. He grabbed his phone from his bedside and checked the time. It was the same time he woke up every day. He sighed softly. I guess my body got used to it, he murmured before getting out of bed and heading to the bathroom to wash his face. After splashing some cold water on his face, he dried himself with a towel and went. Taehyung was busy chopping vegetables for soup when his vision suddenly became blurry. He stopped for a moment, blinking a few times to clear the fog. After a few seconds, his vision became normal again. He shrugged it off, convincing himself it's probably because I wake up. But then, out of nowhere, a sharp pain shot through his head. He groaned in pain, his head trembling as he accidentally nicked his finger with the knife, blood oozing out. Though the cut wasn't too deep, Taehyung winced, dropping the knife as he hid, supporting himself against the counter with one hand while clenching his head with the other. He murmured weakly, what is this? A headache? Suddenly, his legs gave out and he stumbled to the floor. Taehyung climbed to the edge of the counter, preventing himself from collapsing entirely. His breathing was uneven and his lips, it hurts, he whispered, shutting his eyes tightly as his surroundings darkened. He began someone shouting his name before everything went black. When Taehyung opened his eyes again, sunlight was streaming into his room. He winced as the bright light hit his face. They're too bright, he mumbled, squinting, slowly regaining his sense. He noticed a warmth of his hand, blinking in confusion. They turned his head and saw Jungkook sitting beside the bed. His face was brushed in his arms, and Taehyung's hand was trapped under his. Taehyung blinked in surprise and tried to pull his hand out, but Jungkook's weight pinned it down. As he continued to tug gently, Jungkook stirred and jolted away, causing Taehyung to freeze. Oh no, did I wake him up? Taehyung panicked, his eyes wide as he stared at Jungkook. To be continued. So everyone, what do you think? What happened to Taehyung and how Jungkook is here in his room? What do you think about how their relationship is going to build? See you again in the next episode. Thanks a lot for your love and support. See you again. Bye.